All right. Hello, Maccabee Nation. Welcome to our fourth interview. I'm joined today with Moshe Moskowitz is joining us. Welcome, Moshe.
Welcome. Thank you.
He's the founder and CEO of an online fitness program called Jump Into Shape, and he helps motivate people get into shape remotely. He incorporates jump ropes, weights, Pilates, a lot more. We met on LinkedIn, and we've been having a lot of really great conversations about fitness in Israel and sharing our perspectives. And I wanted to have Moshe on so that we could talk about all those things. Thank you for taking time to do this.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
So can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and where did your passion for fitness come from? Why did you start Jump Into Shape?
Okay, great. Pretty much my whole life, I was not passionate about fitness at all. I really never had a passion for it. It's one of those things that just developed that as I was approaching age 40, I realized that there was always a history of health issues in my family, particularly diabetes and heart disease. And I just realized I have to be more proactive, that I have to take care of my health. And I found a kids jump rope. And then after a few marks on the ceiling, I realized I have to find out the right way to jump. So then got the proper form. I found weighted jump ropes. And in 1 year, I ended up just jumping 3 times a week, losing 14 pounds, which I didn't need to in 1 year. And then I started to teach classes locally. And then with COVID, we went online. And from there, we just kept expanding and expanding. And today, thank God we have members. I think we have members in about 10 different states and people doing classes all hours of the day. And it's really, it's amazing. And now I have a passion for it. Don't get me wrong. But I did have a passion for it. And like you mentioned earlier, I have a passion for exercising, but I have more of a passion motivating people to exercise. That's really my true passion.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to find more like Zionist business owners. A lot of people in the community need lots of different services, so we're always trying to highlight what people are doing.
Right.
Can you tell me more about your journey to religious Judaism? I know that that's something that you did later in life,
Right.
and what kind of prompted that change and to become part of that community?
Okay. It's three things. Each could probably be we could talk about for an hour, each on its own. So I'll summarize three, each of them, and we'll go from there. So I grew up not religious. I grew up in a not even traditional, secular home, whatever, reformed to use lack of better words. So I knew what the holidays were. I never really experienced the holidays to the degree that I observe them now. I don't think I ever observed the Shabbos. I never kept kosher. And then when I was 12, my parents got divorced. My father remarried a non-Jewish woman. And then 10 years later, he tells me he's quote unquote converting out of the religion. So he was doing search what other religion talked about. He didn't really research Judaism, but for me, it was a calling to say, "Hey, what is Judaism? I don't know." So I started to join some classes and discover a little what Judaism was, and I was doing a little stuff. I was going to synagogue a little Friday night, Saturday, keeping a little kosher, and then the day came in September, September 11th. And I was working at Fuji Bank on the 79th floor. And literally the second plane, I was told to leave when the first plane hit, and I was on the way down, and literally the second plane crashed through my floor about 17 minutes after I left. I was still in the building, but I just kept reciting the Shema on the way down. I only knew the first 6 words. I didn't know anything else, but I truly feel that was a part of my life being saved, that I was calling out to God at that point. And I'm, continuing on my journey, continuing and learning in class setting, privately, and then being saved by God on 9/11, and then going on a religious program through Birthright a year later. All those things were a huge part of it. But yeah,
Awesome.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
that's an amazing story. And I
yeah,
know, one of the things, as far as I can gather, a lot of our community in Maccabee Nation, are secular Jews. Some are Christian Zionists,
Right.
people from all over the world. But one of the things when we started talking early on in the newsletter, I definitely want it to be a place kind of for everyone, and where we can get different voices and
Right.
perspectives. And one question that I have is, for me as I guess reform as well, or secular.
Right.
I don't know, trying to figure that out as well. It's easy for me to kind of tuck my Star of David into my shirt or not wear a kippah,
Right.
especially in this type of climate. Can you tell me a bit about how you think of those decisions, and is it difficult to be kind of more identifiable as a
Right.
Jew in America in this day and age?
Right. It's a great question. First, a lot of times when people throw out these titles, Reform, Conservative, Orthodox. I mean, the Nazis, Maximo didn't care. Hamas doesn't care. I mean, I don't think. I think we're Jewish. We're Jewish. It doesn't matter. The goal is that every Jewish person should strive to always add on to the relationship with God. Each person's going to do it at a different pace, at a different level. But the titles don't help because listen, the titles don't help. We're Jewish. We're Jewish. We're Jewish. That's the bottom line. As we talked about earlier, we should try to find ways that we all could, learn from each other. As far as it's a very good question. I live just 10 minutes from New York. I don't really feel comfortable going to New York. I know my wife goes there every day. My sister lives there, and they say, no, I think it's okay. I mean, my wife literally goes underground. She doesn't really go above ground much in her commute. And, you know, uh, part of it is like I don't want to go. Part of it, I've talked to friends, and they're like, "No, listen, you should go. Wear your pants out. My pants are tucked in now. My pants are like down to here. Wear your pants out. I mean, my sitters. I would never tuck my sitters in, and obviously my beard, I'm not going to tuck in. And be proud, and don't worry. So that's one thought. The other thought is, I am a little worried. I really am. I tell you, as much as I'm worried, like I don't want to go there necessarily and say, "Hey, Middle Times Square, look at me. I'm a religious Jew," whatever it is. But if I were to go there and I would be harmed, and if I was worst case scenario, whatever happened, I'd still have 100% emunah belief in God that whatever He's in charge. He's in charge. So if I were to be harmed, it wouldn't hurt my belief in God one iota. So again, I can't say I feel safe going in these places to even New York right now in the middle of New York. But if something, God forbid, would happen, it wouldn't affect my relationship with God in one little piece.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that explanation, and it is sad that that's the state of the world.
Right.
No one should have to ever feel unsafe for practicing their religion, especially in America.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. It's a
you
wake up
know,
call. It's a wake up call. We have, we felt safe in history. We felt safe in Germany. We felt safe in Spain. There's so many countries we felt safe in. For years I've heard people say, you know, you can't feel safe in America forever. Like we have a history that this is that we've been kicked out of so many different places. I'm not saying we're getting kicked out of America, but I think people do have a less feeling of security than we used to have.
yeah, no doubt about that. Can you tell me a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey? And I know you have some kids, and entrepreneurship is something in my family is something that I want
Right.
my kids to be entrepreneurial. What are some ways that you help cultivate, accountability, leadership, and things with your kids?
Right. That's good. So I'll tell you, as far as being entrepreneurial, I think it's important that whenever you have an idea that you think you want to try, work on it. I mean, I had many ideas that failed. We had an idea once with a coupon thing. We had an idea with a dog thing. I used to create these sheets that were in papers about like a Shabbos sheet, an activity sheet, and lots of different ideas. Some worked, some didn't work. This happens to be one that is working, and thank God it is. So the first thing is when you have the worst idea is the one you don't try. That is for sure. As far as how to cultivate that, it's interesting. I think some people have a knack. to want to be entrepreneurs. Some people have a knack that they want to go out on a limb and try something. I mean, thank God we have four kids, and our 14-year-old actually has his own business. He has his own cold cereal ice cream business. He started making ice cream during COVID. And then in the last year or so, he talked to the local store. He makes it at the local store and they sell it there. So he's 14-year-old, and he has a lot of growth opportunities with it too. So how we cultivate that with kids, I think like everything, just set an example. But entrepreneurship is not for everyone. It's a lot of responsibility, and I think a lot of people, like to be able to say, okay, I have a job, I'll do what the boss says. I go home. I don't have to worry about my job. I don't have to worry about making money. I get my paycheck. I think the best thing about having your own business is kind of what I touched on before. It builds on your moon. It builds on your belief in God. When you have a steady paycheck, then sometimes you forget what the source of the paycheck is. Every 2 weeks, the paycheck, the money's there. But when you have your own business and you get a message from the client, oh, I'm canceling my membership. Or I'm going away for summer, I cancel my membership now, cancel my membership forever. Or you thought someone was gonna become a member, they didn't. You realize who's in charge. It's not the member, it's all from above.
Yeah. No, I think that that's a great explanation. Um, in terms of trying to find places where more secular Jews, more religious Jews can get together and
Right.
find common ground to do things. Do you have any suggestions? Because we're looking to put together events and things like that, and
Right.
I found we're trying when we try and do things that are inclusive, it's sometimes hard to find something that everyone can participate in together.
Right.
And I was wondering if you have any suggestions. A lot of people have asked us to put together some events.
Right. Right. You want to put events together in person or online?
In both, I think. I think
Right.
group meetings, I think, would be nice about different topics that people are
Right.
interested in. But then some people, especially other writers, have asked, maybe one day of having like a writers retreat to Israel or something like
Right.
that.
Right.
Different people have expressed interest
Oh,
in
interesting.
groups through a tour guide who's come on the show
Right.
previously. So we're kind of thinking about a few things, and I want to make sure that it can be something that is also inclusive, that maybe religious people would also want to participate in
Right.
if we
Right.
were to do something.
No, it's a great idea. I think perhaps to think about what will you be doing together. I think whenever people come together, religious or not, again, any Jew, if you're talking about something Jewish, you could be talking about upcoming holiday, you could be talking about Shabbos, that even if someone is not actually keeping all the laws of what you're talking about, it hits something in their nerve. They identify as Jewish. And then when they, talk about, oh, Shabbos, they might not know what Shabbos is. Like when I was growing up, I know what it is. But they know that their ancestors, maybe their grandparents kept Shabbos. And, so learning about it draws them closer to their own, grandparents, even though, they personally doesn't resonate with them. Or talking about something about the history of Israel. Again, we talk about today, so many people are attacked because they're Jewish, but they don't even know the ABCs. They don't even know why they're being attacked. So to learn about the ABCs, to learn about where Judaism came from, just the basics, what basic stories in the Torah, nothing so deep, but just the basic guideline that we were here, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and then in addition to that, an event that everyone would be happy doing. So people are always happy doing chesed. People, if you did a group trip to a hospital, or you did a soup kitchen, or you did putting gifts together for needy families or sick kids, there's no one that is upset. There's no one could argue about that. There's no opportunity for argument because everyone likes to give to other people. So I think those ideas, bringing on the history of Judaism, and bring on events that people feel happy about. It's everyone will come together to do that, and if they had any preconceived notions beforehand, no one's going to think about that. We're just here to do something good.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate your time. Do you have any fitness tips that you want to share? Your favorite fitness tip with the community, or anything you'd like to add, kind of
Yeah, my fitness.
before we go here?
Sure, thank you. My favorite fitness tip is very simple. People think they don't have, biggest thing is people think they don't have time to exercise. That's the biggest complaint. I don't have time. It's so simple. Just look at your calendar and make appointments with yourself as if you were doing a business meeting, as if you were doing on a date with your spouse, as if your kids had a baseball game, whatever that important thing is that you would never miss. Treat it the same way and put it in your book and your calendar, whatever you do, ideally the same times every week, even if it's 3 times a week, but mark it off and make an appointment with yourself. I think that's the biggest thing that people just say I don't have time. And it's not that they don't have time, they don't make the time. And if you
Yeah.
anything that's important for you, you make the time. So that would be my number one tip is make the time to exercise. And then you fill in the blanks after that. But first thing is blocking off the time.
Yeah, I fell off the wagon for a while, and I'm trying to get back into it.
I know a great program.
Maybe it was you who said it, but I saw something recently that was, it's good to try and get one work win, like one fitness win, and one spiritual win every day.
Right.
To
I
try
didn't say
and
that, but it's good. I like that. It wasn't me. I can't take credit for it, but it sounds good.
Yeah. So thank you. I know that you're going to give me a link so people can find you. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people are always looking to kind of get back in shape and try something new. So I definitely would encourage anyone who is looking to start on their fitness journey or continue it to work with Moshe. He's very motivating. And really good at keeping on top of everybody.
Right.
And I really appreciate you taking the time to do this and share your perspective. And thank you for being part of Maccabee Nation. And thank you
Yeah.
for your time tonight.
Thank you for having me. And I give you a Bronco that everything you should do should be full of success and bringing people together from all over.
Awesome. Thank you.